Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Botswana Television. We are coming to you live from South Botswana Conference. My name is Simba Majane, and I will be steering the ship for this show. It is an exciting new show that we have for you, and it is called The Conversation. It's one of our original productions right here at the South Botswana Conference Media Center, and we hope that you will be blessed by the conversations we will be having. We're going to be discussing issues relating to the young people and the things that we ought to do in relation to those topics. We've got black tax, we've got LGBTQ, we've got church involvement, we've got how intimate you should be in your relationships and engagements. We've got all sorts of things coming towards you. But today, as I have already referred to, the first topic that we're going to tackle is the topic of black tax. And to help me with this topic, I'm going to introduce my two guests who are going to be helping us to have this conversation and inform us on what they think about the questions that will be posed to them. But lo and Botswana, so you have an opportunity to talk to us, and we're going to give you the last 10 minutes of the show to hear your points of view on the topic of black tax, particularly on the questions that we will be asking. The number is 7511-8177. I'll repeat it. 7511-8177. Send your text messages, send your WhatsApp messages, send your voice notes, and we will be referring to them at the end of the show. So pay attention to the questions that will be asked. And not to waste any more time, Mr. Kawane.
Yes, sir.
We've got Kawane Ramontsonyana, who will be speaking to us about the first question. He will be answering the first question. Sir, is it a must for you to give back to the people who raised you? When you talk about black tax, it is an expectation on the child that when they make it in life, they ought to support their family with their income. So I want to ask you that, is it a must? Do you think that it is a must to give back to the people who raised you?
All right. Thank you so much for having me. Let me say good morning to you, Mr. Simba. And let me also say good morning to the listeners and all those that are watching from wherever they are watching. Now alluding to your question, I would say that it is not just a must that somebody must give back to their parents or people who are guardians to their lives as they grew up. I would say that it is woven into the DNA of any human being, any right-thinking human being, that when time has come, they must look back and take track of where they come from. And if there is any need to do that, not just there being a need, as I said, I think it is woven into our DNA that at a certain point in time, when situations and life allows, we must take some of what we have been able to accrue and in a way give back to the people who made us who we are at the time.
Very, very comprehensive answer, sir. Thank you so much. I don't know if we've got Nako Keavile here with us, and she may have something to say on the same question before we move on to the second question.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me in this show. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you. Well, I don't want to say it is a must. I want to say that it is a personal choice. It is also, because, I mean, if God gave us a choice to love him or not to love him, why should we mandate to do other things? Yeah, that's my point. It's not a must. It is a personal choice. We do it if you want to do it, and you do it because you love the people you're doing it for, not because you're mandated to do that.
Beautiful. I really wish we had more time to unpack these conversations, because as you can hear, we can have different perspectives to the same issue, not to say one is right and one is wrong, but just to say our differences should unite us in seeing things from different perspectives. So now I'm going to get a bit more personal with the question that I'm going to dive into. I don't know your family backgrounds, I don't know what situations you're coming from. But the second question that I have is, if your parents didn't have much input in your upbringing, if they were not there for you, are you obligated then to support them financially when maybe you were raised by family, government funds, or by extended family, or you were adopted? Is it a must for you to then go to the family that did not support you and support them financially with black tax? Nako, can you help us with that?
Thank you very much for asking that question. And this is why I say it is not a must. It is about a personal choice. So, the other question that may come from the question that you are asking is that, was it their personal choice not to be involved in your life altogether as you were growing? Or was it a matter of they were not able to do that? And then also, when we have to answer that again, it is a matter of me saying, do I want to help them? Do I feel I love them so much that I want to help them? Or is it because, nah, these people have hurt me so much, I'm still hurting. Give me time to heal. And then when I've healed, then I would assist them in whatever way. We know, we've seen parents leave their children to come and live in the city and live a nice life. And they're struggling, and the kids are thinking, but my mom earns enough to take care of me. Why is it that she can't take care of me? And sometimes it broods bitterness in us, and allow the person to, it's not a must. It is always a personal choice. I cannot say, am I going to abandon my grandmother who raised me up and go to a mother yes.
Very, very interesting perspective we have there. I love the fact that you're talking about the details that need to be unearthed, because it's not just a simple issue of are they my parent or are they not my parent. There are many factors that go into the decision or that you're going to make in terms of how you relate to black tax. Mr. Ramonsunyan, I don't know if you have anything to add to that particular question. If somebody abandoned you and they did not raise you, do you have an obligation to that person? Now, I have said that it depends on circumstances. I would like to hear your perspective, sir.
I personally think that, you know, as I was saying, I'm going to go back into the idea that over time, I believe that the word or the phrase black tax has been used in a way to put or to cast a shade on the idea of Boto or Ubuntu. If you can take a historic glance at how our cultures are as Africans, I would still go back to not just being Africans, but as humans. We are a people of a culture of community. The idea of parents or people not being able to support their offsprings or siblings is a new idea that comes with this dynamism of culture. You must understand that if you were a young man growing up in a proper African setup, at the right age, even let me say in the European cultures, at the right time, you are given something to take off with, to go out and start your family. So giving back would not be some type of a burden, or it would not be something that you do because you are obligated to do that. It would be something that you do because you are supposed to contribute in promulgating and creating wealth within your lineage as a person. So now, with the advent of new cultures coming into our space, we find that we have families that break away from their own siblings, that go live in towns. We have people that have new ideas of do what thou wilt, take care of yourself. So you see that the idea of this thing now coming out as a burden or as an obligation, or you asking a question, is it a must, starts to become a part of everyday life. Where in the case of how we grew up and how life must be, it must be something that just happens naturally, that, you know what, life has brought me this far, and I must now return back to life. Even in the issue of people, now that we are also Christians, going back to take care of people that didn't even take care of you, goes to the idea of, do you think in your life you must accrue for yourself to grow and become just by yourself and the people around you and your family? But if all things are in the right place, we must be thinking in such a way that I myself must grow up to be a depository of God's blessings, not just for my parents, but for the whole community. So in another instance, you would say that the idea of black tax to me is a motivation to accrue enough that other people must just come into where God has deposited his blessings, that's in my life, and just take as the abundance of God's blessings provides for me.
That's a very beautiful thought. I think it gels together with what Nako was saying in terms of it's a personal choice. So at the beginning, it's not that you're obligated, but then I'm also reminded of the verse that says, I am compelled by the love of Christ.
Yes, sir.
So it is a choice that is actually based on your relationship with Christ, for you to support people who may not even have supported you to begin with. I can see that you want to add on to what I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, maybe for lack of understanding on my side, it may sound like the idea of personal choice makes, some choices may be too subjective. You may make certain choices according to how you think things may be. I would say in a proper place, it must not even be about whether you are choosing, because there is a way that seemeth right unto a man. And you may make, if you get my drift, at the point when you do it, it must not even register as to whether you are choosing to do it. The flow of how it happens must just be in such a way that a stream flows to the ocean without it choosing whether it must go right or left. Because it is built within the flow and the nature of how elements must give to one another, that the stream must flow to the ocean, and the ocean must give to the clouds, and the clouds must give back to the brooks. So that thing must not involve where I consciously sit down and begin, can I choose to give them or not? I'm just trying to bring a different perspective.
I hear you loud and clear. And I believe that you also have an opportunity to let your voice be heard on this issue of black tax. Is it an obligation? And furthermore, in terms of people who did not take care of you, should you take care of them when you get the ability to do so? We would love to hear from you. The number is 75118177. 75118177. Just let us know your views through text or through a voice note. Now, as we referred to, we are Christians, and we've been referring to Bible texts, we've referred to Proverbs, we refer to Corinthians. And now we're going to ask this question in terms of us being Christians. We know that God pours his blessings upon us. So now I have a question. Should we give to our parents as a way of getting blessings? There are some people who believe, particularly when you get your first salary, the whole salary should go to your parents, and by doing so, then you will get a blessing from God. Is there any truth or basis to this? Mr. Ramon Sungane, let us hear from...
Let me allow her to start on that one. Because
all right, let's hear from Nako, and then Mr. Ramon Sungane will give his view.
Okay, like I said, I still repeat, it's a personal choice. You cannot do things because you are mandated to do them and expect any better results. I'll give it a scenario because we are saying this from a Christian perspective, right? Then, I need to do things for God, to serve God, because I love God. It is my personal choice to serve God. God loved us, and still, I mean, if God has died for us and still gave us a choice to choose him or not to choose him, why is it that it's supposed to be mandated that I need to give back to the parents? It needs to be a personal choice. I need to, as a Christian, yes, I love my parents, all right? And I love God. So whatever I do should reflect my love. I think before I get to answer your question, Ghana mentioned something about that you are not supposed to be. It's not something that's supposed to be. You're consciously aware of it. To love is a conscious decision, and to act, because love is action. To act also is it's something that you constantly and consciously do it every day. So having to say my first salary, I'm giving it to my mom or to my parents or to my grandparents because they raised me up and I expect blessings. Hey, you are in it for a disappointment. You will not get blessings because you're doing it because you're expecting blessings. And again, you take your entire salary and give it to someone, then you are left broke. I don't think God wants that. Why should you give them your entire salary? Yeah, that's how I say it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Sir, what are your takes? We want God's blessing.
Yes, sir.
And there's a young person in school right now. Should they expect a blessing for giving their parents their first salary?
No, sir. No, sir. I believe that you don't give because you are trading in blessings for that action. And sometimes, as I said when I started, how o setse o tsena mo gone go o gqita ha o go mo ba re go gqita ha o setse o tsena mo tirong o simolla go bereka o bona se khwamanyana ha o letlelelwe ke diemo tse di go dikologileng gore di go pressurize against se leng gore wena o mo go sone gore sire gore o ise gore o khone gore bagolo ba go sogatse mo dingwaong tse dingwe gate o tla bo tsa salary eo we nela bagolo, and then they will take that and give it to the gods. So you see, like there's also a cultural element and metaphysical religious aspects connected to that. Ke tsaya gore ha mabaka a letla gore mo salary ya gago o ntshe sengwe o sehe o ka seha mme ha go a re o tse sengwe le sengwe hela bo sisa bo, because le ena kana ona le tse o tshwantseng gore o di tlhokomele tse o tshwantseng go dira ka madi ao. And I believe batsadi ba gago le botlhe ba le gore ba go diste ba tshwantse gore ba go itse ba tlhaloganya le ena gore botshelo ba go bontse yang.
Well, let us unpack more on this issue of black tax when we come back from the break. We have come to the end of the first section, but remember that number, send in your SMSs, send in your WhatsApp messages, and send in your VNs on this topic of black tax. See you after the break.
The South Botswana Conference brings you virtual crusades from the 21st August to the 4th September 2021, hosted by Abotswana Television, under the theme Peace in the Storm. What a befitting message. Guest preachers are Evangelist Mashudu Ravengani and Pastor Tebogosi Tiro. Get ready to receive powerful health messages, family life presentations, counseling, and music. Abotswana Television, bringing hope to your home. Be blessed. The South Botswana Conference brings you virtual.
Welcome back to the conversation here on Abotselo Television, live from South Botswana Conference. We are with you talking about the issue of black tax. And I'm not alone. I'm here with my guests, Mr. Kaone Ramontsonyane and Ms. Nako Keabile. Now, I'm here discussing with them certain questions that are relating to the topic of black tax, and we invite you to be a part of the conversation. We will hear your views for the last 10 minutes of the show. But for now, let's move on to the next question that we have. We've been talking about the first salary, whether it should go to the parents. Now, let's talk a bit more long-term. How does black tax impact generational wealth? Mr. Ramontsonyane, can you help us with that? How does black tax impact the issue of generational wealth?
Some people say that black tax helps to close the poverty gap, or it can assist, like in the case where I am the first wealthy rich sibling according to the definition of my immediate surrounding. I could contribute to my family's upbringing and well-being in such a way that in future they may never have to come back to me. I think you wonder why I am gabbed and dripping in rural swag, because I feel that the issue of black tax compels us to make decisions in our lives that we must change. It speaks especially to people of color in all across the world. So I would love for you to take people of the Indian culture as an example. They would come to a place, set up a business, and they would accrue wealth, send it back, or bring someone, invest in them. They compound that wealth, and some people used to call it the spiderweb doctrine, if you remember a certain book written by one Nigerian. So it means that the tebe that is there circulates within the family until it has made enough value for ourselves, for us to take it outside, not just spend it, but invest it to even grow. So I believe that it affects generational wealth in such a way that maybe from the positive aspect, we can use it to bridge all the poverty gaps and reinvest them more, the business in tsabone. But in a case where somebody now gets into debt because of having to pay or contribute at Kobatswanting, that now becomes a burden, because it can also create poverty within the family. If you are the only person who killing not the first person because you want to save those that are dead. Somebody was giving an example that if you are in a plane and there's oxygen, the first person you must help is yourself. Then you can help the other people around you. So the concept is that make sure that you are sitting in a comfortable position, and then from there give something out to also help the other people and close the poverty gaps, so that in the future they don't have to keep coming back to you to ask for this and that.
Beautifully put. I don't know if Nako has anything to add on to what you have just said.
Yes, I'm not sure if I love the word black tax.
Yeah.
Because it means that then you are taxed. And if you are taxed, it means that you get drained emotionally, you get drained physically, you get drained financially. I think if you are helping other people, like Ramontsonyane was saying, if you are helping your immediate family, and you know that before I help them, first aid it to master guiding. Before I go to some to your mongwe, o tshwantse gore o make sure gore wena you are safe. Ke tshwantse gore ha ile gore ke batla go tsenya bonna ke sekolo, because ke nna wa ntla go tsana sekolo ko lapeng, ke nna ngwana ntla e be ke rena le bonna ke ba ke tshwantse gore ke ba tsenya sekolo. Ke tshwantse gore mme ke diragatsa gore ke se ka reka gore ke amogela 3000 pula e be ke re mme yanong ke nne ke adima madi a metshelo gore ke tle ke kgone go ba tsenya sekolo, le nna ke itsenye sekolo, le bongwana ke le bone ke ba tsenye sekolo ke kgone go ba duelela. E senyalo ra go hela re tsana mo mathateng. We need great financial management for us to be able to deal with a personal choice, like I've always been saying, and showing love. Go supa gore ke a rata e bile ke maitlhophelo a me, ke tshwantse gore ke go dire ke sa patelediwe e bile ke sa ikgokontshe le nna ke le yo nayang. Yeah.
I love that answer because it shows how we ought to relate to money. If you can manage your finances well, then you can actually be a blessing to the people that you live with. So that is a beautiful way to illustrate it. And now talking about relations, not relationships between you and your money, but relationships between you and your parents. How does this issue of black tax, allow me to continue with the term because it is the topic,
Yeah.
but how does black tax affect the relationship between a parent and a child?
Because Wabana Khanya being mandated to do that. Now that you are unable to give, at the time that you are unable to give, it may create a conflict between a parent and a child because they feel this child is ke insurance ya me ke na tla mpolokang o swantse go range sa ke re ke mo godisitse so o swantse gore le ene a ntuele nyaaya ga ke a tshwanna go duela motsadi wa me gore o nkgodisitse no because I didn't choose to be born. And they made a conscious decision to take care of me and probably and then yana ha sana bana ngwana ba batla gore ba godise ngwana e bare re duele nya ba boele go modimo ha ile gore I have to pay that bare modimo ba bare modimo re duele re godise motho o no re mo kopile go go ena e tshwantse gore nne se nna ile boitlhophelo ja me gore ke a utlwana le bone ra ratana re tsana sentle jaanong ke eletsa gore ke ba he ka gore ke a barata ile supa lo rata jaanong potso ha go nereng can you repeat your question again?
It was, how does this issue of black tax affect the relationship between a parent and a child?
Jaanong ka gore ke ha ke patelediwa ebe ke sa khone go hala go tsa khotlang mme ha ile gore ke dira ka gore ke a rata motsadi wa me wa go khona go tlhaloganya gore ngwana ke gone ga khone gore a nthekele jaanong kana ha ile gore ke a patelediwa ke simola ke tshwantshangwa le ngwana ga masemamang le ngwana ga masemamang but then ha ile gore ga ke patelediwe ke kganya lo rato ebile ke kganya gore motsadi wa me wa khona go tlhaloganya gore ke boitlhophelo ja me gore a ke a mothusa ha ke sa khone go mothusa kana ke sa khone go mothusa ka teng wa go ntsola ntsa ntsaya ka ha ke motsang ka teng ebile go hala go tsa khotlang even in the family siblings within the family members because my sister or my brother can afford to give my mom 5,000 every month. Now the only thing I can afford is to give her 200 pula every month. Go hala go ratiwa 5,000 pula. What 200 pula sa ratiwa ka gore mandated. Yes.
Right, very comprehensive answer. Thank you so much, Nako. Mr. Ramansonyane, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, Nikari, ole moge mokaule mo gore khanye ya black tax, it affects or it becomes more complicated for young people who grow up and become socialized in semi-urban to urban areas, upwardly mobile people, than people who are growing up in rural setups. Because the idea of contributing and being a part of how the family grows and becomes what it is over time is not really, dictated by the same demographics that you have ko toropong as tedi ko legaeng. Mosimane wa ko legae Setswana sare mogwele kaba ga a tsogale ke re go ra gore lo ena la ha o ntse ana motho ga majane ha o nyala ko nyalla nteng kwa o na le marriage black tax yo tsone di kgong di tshwantse gore di nne di wela so go haka ditonki o bo wa khonye o tla go di bako ga se molato ke go batla ditonki ha o lo o no ile go paka metsi wa ha paka o tlogela toromo le lengwe hela ha bogwagwadi so the complexities of how life has become o tsana mo toropong o simolla go bereka bo itikologa ka dikoloto o re go dira gore e nne ka re go ketehalla gore o tse ditshwetso tsa go batla gore o contribute ko lapeng mme bile gape ha o ile go toropong kwa botla o lebala gore o tshwantse gore ko lapeng o latlhele seng ha go ka ke ga tlhokega gore batsadi ba go lebe ka leitlho le leng gore ba go tshwapa go mosimane o ya anong e ka re o jelo ke ga burone a jaanong ga reo a ga re teng ka gore gone go le gongwe mme e rile o sa lemoge ba go tlhokometse go le go sesanyane le go le go kima go le thata le go se thata ba ne ba dira di sacrifice tse le gore lo yana ka nako eo o tshwantse gore o di dire jaanong ga go thona gore e be tsatsi lengwe ba go sunyela sehatlhego gore ga o ba latlhelele sengwe.
Very, very, very expounded on. It's been comprehensively covered in terms of the issues of culture, in terms of the issue of dynamics within the family structure. sibling relationships also were mentioned. I think it is quite a broad topic. It requires sensitivity as well as investigation, as well as a sound mind for you to be able to make the right decisions on the whole. And speaking of the having a sound mind, how does black tax affect personal development? We are growing up where young people want to become the best people that we can be. How does this issue of black tax affect our self-development? And I'm going to ask Nako to help us with that.
Hey, I think it also goes back to the issue of it being a mandatory thing. And this is the one thing that we've been repeating over and over and over again, that you need to be safe before you can try to save someone else. And tax emotionally, financially, and physically, and you end up not being able to develop. I don't think any parent a tshelela mo kutlo botlhokong ana le stress sa di gore mo dikulutung ka gore o batla go thusa batho gantele ke gore le ena mara ngwana ha ile gore motsadi o le ene wa o rata ngwana yo gantele mara ngwana go ha se mo se o le mo go sone se kwa teng ema pele ka go no o tsenya monna o sekolo ko private kana o re o duela monna wa preschool go ra tsena sekolo ke tla mmelega mo lapeng re tla go motsenya kwa go rumente o tla go bala reception because go supa gore motsadi o le ene wa rata mme ha ile motsadi o leng gore o batla gore a nna hiwa na kola na kwa hiwa na kola na kwa hiwa na kola na ko le ena khantele ga o gole o palwa ke go itsenya sekolo gore o kgone gore o bone tironyana e botoka o palwa ke gore le wena o itirele dikhosenyana kana o itlhabolela le wena tebe go aga go ya sethohela kana o ipatlele setshabo go le gore o go tsenya ka more le ngwe hela o tla thusa kwa lapeng gore o bone gore go agega go a lebega mme le wena o le motho o tlhoka gore o itse gore o na le ga o ka robalang teng ka moso ha ona le lwapa ona le bana ba gago tla ke ha se ka itse le lwapa as a family ke le mme gongwe ke nyetswe ke na le bana ya nne tlabe ke tlhokomolo ga bongwanake ebe ke batla gore ka gore kwa ke godiswe teng ke nne ke re ke batla go nna hela ke ntsha bongwanake le bona ka moso ba safara ya no go mo le gone go bruda hatred ya bongwanake towards my extended family. They need to understand gore because in the African culture communal like and as a community re tshwantse gore re ratane sentle re sa gogagogana go na le a balance re se ka ra batla go compare my immediate family with my extended family. They are all a priority but in different levels altogether.
A kere gone me vesele nere monna o palelwang ke go irela lelapa la gagwe o tshwana hela le mo hater. So as she's saying first family, it's even biblical that start with family and then go out.
Beautiful. Now, to wrap this all up, I just want to go to the Bible now, all right? We hear of the story of the Good Samaritan in Luke chapter 10. The young man, the wise man, comes to Jesus and he says, what shall I do to inherit life? And Jesus gives him answers, including, you should love your neighbor as yourself. And he says, who is my neighbor? And Jesus gives that story of the Good Samaritan. We know how it goes. For the sake of time, I'll just summarize it in that way. So my question is, are there any principles that we can learn in terms of the story of the Good Samaritan, how that Good Samaritan was, and how he took care of that man that he did not know in relation to this issue of black tax? Remember that he did not know this man, but he was equipped with all that he needed in order to help that man, and he helped him fully. So is there a way in which we can apply that principle to this issue of black tax?
I was saying to someone who is very close to me that the reason why I'm trying to do so much now is because we come to town and because re na le kolonyana re tsamayang ka yone re boela mo lapeng bana ba tsana di private re na le ntlonyana re ja di cornflakes le macaroni le tamatsos botshelo ba rena boho but na ke fila gore ke bo ke santse ke tshwere ke tlala ibile ke sa khora ha batho ba ba ntirileng se ke leng sone le ba ba gaufi le nna le community ke tsela mo gone e santse e robala e saja. So now me se o se ra gore black tax ya no khotsa that feeling, because it's also as you say you must get to a certain level, that thing e tshwantse gore e go re jaaka monolo wa mosamaria abo le mo seemong se o nang le mo go lekanye, you must have enough, because this Good Samaritan had enough. So what we must do right now, in fact, is to try and inculcate it on our children to work hard enough to accrue enough to serve not just their immediate family and their parents, but also the world, in case where you find people. Ghana, that's where this Mother Teresa type of Mahatma Gandhi, type of thing comes in, where you are now a blessing to a wider generation of people than just your immediate people.
Beautifully put. And now that brings us to the end of our section. We're going to take a break and then come back and hear your views from home. And then afterwards, we will take the last statements from our two guests. 75118177 is where you can catch us. Let us know your thoughts on the conversation we just had.
Conversation. The conversation. 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 Mechanization. Conversation. The conversation.
Thank you very much for tuning into the conversation live from South Botswana Conference on Abotilo Television. We are here discussing the issue of black tax. And now it is your opportunity to tell us your thoughts and your views on this topic. We'll be listening to the voice messages as well as reading out the text that we have received on this show. And let me remind you that we are going to be here every day at the same time, 7 every single day in the morning. So we would like you to invite your friends to be a part of this conversation. But without wasting any further time, let us hear from the viewers at home.
Good morning. Well, I'm saying my name is Charles. All that I'm saying is the issue of black tax is something that needs broad understanding from all stakeholders. It needs tolerance. Most importantly, it should be done within the limitation of the one who gives. E se gore go nka moswa motho a modimo a ithala le gore o ikimeditse kgantele a tloga nna e ka re sala re mmona ena a itaya gore ke sekgantshwane and a simolola a tla o tswa ke batho. And well, as much as I believe that it's sort of an obligation that I take care of my parents, they must also understand that, you know, I must do se ke se kgonang and not that some of the things should be imposed on me, even nka se ka ka di kgona. And it needs training. We need to train up our kids, and we also need to have parents who are understanding.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for that voice note. We wish we knew your name, but thank you for that beautiful comment. Indeed, it does take a lot of thinking, a lot of responsibility, a lot of reasoning for you to make the right decisions that will not put you and the people you love in danger. Now, going into the messages we've received, I'm going to read those which are the messages that are on Facebook. We've got Tucha Imelda, who was agreeing with somebody. She just simply said, yeah. And then we've got Pastor Brian Kemoabe, who says, come on now. All right. And then we've got Mao Tovena Setibe Muila, who says, Kemokorwana. Ke go dirile ka lorato ebile ga ke go ikotlhaele ke just mama salary tsame. Then we've got Pastor Kaho Ramidi, who says wow, and Orebotse Ramidi, who says wow. We are very thankful for those messages. We will be reading more messages tomorrow as the opportunity avails itself. But for now, I'm going to give opportunity to my two guests, Mr. Kaone Ramansonyana as well as Ms. Nako Kabile, to give us their closing remarks on this issue. Kaone, you can go first.
All right. Bareto, Ari, let us take time to know and understand the history of poverty and wealth creation, and find out and know where to point a finger for the things that went wrong in the timeline of wealth creation in our families. And then let us use this idea or concept, whatever, of black tax as a motivation for us to work hard enough to be blessings, not just to our parents, but to also the world community around us. Me gone hela go na le sengwe se ke se blamang era ke tla ema go le kalo.
All right. Nako?
For the love of Christ compels me. Because I love Christ, I will serve him with my life, because serving him gives me joy. So, for the love of my parents compels me. You ought to do it because you love them, and it was your choice to love them. Ha ile gore modimo ya ka ke buile ga go pateletsa gore o morate le ntswa go swetse ga gona ope yo go pateletsang go thusa o thusa ka gore wa bo rata batsadi ba gago ibile o batla go ba bontsha gore wa ba rata le bone ba lemoge le batsadi ba gago gore o dira ka gore wa rata e seng ka gore wa patelediwa. And maybe to conclude, ha o le mo Keresete o dumela mo go Jesu wa itse gore Bible ya go botsa le Jesu o na botsa gore lo ka nthata jang lo sike lo nkitse ibile lo sike lo mpone le palelwa ke go rata ba nna le bone mo lehatsheng. Jaanong ha o dumela mo modimo o tla dira se utlwang pelo ya gago e tumelela go se dira. Jaanong ha o dumela mo modimo a ke re bua ka ha o dumela mo modimo ibile ha o tlhophile modimo Timoteo wa ntlha kgaolo ke ya botlhano temana ke ya borobobedi ke a go e bala ka Setswana tsala me o na e nnela a nkgakolla sengware fa mongwe a sa tlamele ba gabo bogolo ba eleng ba ntlo ya gagwe o latotse tumelo mme o busula go gaisa yo a sa dumeleng. So ha ile gore ke tume o mo tumelong ya Sekeresete o mo tumelong ye reng rata ba gaeno o bo sa dire ga o mo tumelong a me aka.
Beautifully put, and that brings us to the end of our first episode of The Conversation. It is raw, it is uncut, it is live coming to you. We want to hear your opinions, we want to see what you think about the conversations, but we want to end it all at the feet of Christ. That is the only place where we can find safety and solitude. So let Christ be your guide, as has been said, and let us all make the best decisions that will make sure that all of us get an opportunity to see the grace of God. From myself, Simba Majane, coming to you on Abotelo Television from South Botswana Conference on The Conversation, I bid you farewell until we meet again tomorrow at 7:10. See you there.
The Conversation.
The South Botswana Conference brings you virtual crusades from the 21st August to the 4th September 2021, hosted by Abotelo Television, under the theme Peace in the Storm. What a befitting message. Guest preachers are Evangelist Mashudu Ravengani and Pastor Tebogosi Tiro. Get ready to receive powerful health messages, family life presentations, counseling, and music. Abotelo Television, bringing hope to your home. Be blessed. The South Botswana Conference.
Hello, I am going to demonstrate to you how you can receive Botsilo TV on a decoder called a free-to-air decoder. Now we have various models of free-to-air decoders. The one I'm going to demonstrate to you now is called a Filibao decoder. And this is one of the Filibao decoders which has got an HDMI output. Remember that you cannot receive Abotelo TV if your decoder does not have HDMI output. If your decoder is older, you may not be able to use it to receive Abotelo TV. I am now going to demonstrate to you how to set it up so that you can be able to watch Abotelo TV. Now, this is how you program your Filibao decoder to receive Abotelo TV. You press the menu button and the main menu will display on your screen, and installation will be highlighted. Then you press the arrow to the right, and it will ask for the password. In this particular decoder, the password will be 0000, which is the default password. Then you check on your antenna settings, you press OK. Some of the decoders you may find that it's not highlighted Intelsat 20. So you press the arrow to the right until you see the satellite name Intelsat 20. And then the LNB type is supposed to be KU band. Make sure that you have KU band as your LNB type. Then you go to the LNB frequency. Some of the decoders, your LNB frequency is going to be 09750/10600. In this particular case, the dish that we're using, the LNB frequency is set on 09750/10600. But some of the satellite dishes, they will be set on 09750/10700. It will be set on this one, but now on this one I'm using 10600 at the end. When you have done that, you check at the bottom, it will show you the signal quality. If you see that the quality is 0, you change your LNB frequency to the other oscillating frequency, which is ending with 10700. When you see that there is now quality at the bottom, where it says quality, it shows some percentage. For example, this one is showing 59% on quality. You press the blue button, which is written scan, and now you can be able, your decoder will be able to scan. It will bring you this scan, the menu on scan, and you go to network search, you put it on instead of off. Then you press the OK button or the enter button so that the decoder can start scanning. When it has finished scanning, it will ask you to save the results, and you press OK on yes so that it can save the information that it has scanned. When it has finished, you press the exit button and you go to the list of channels by pressing the OK button or the enter button on your remote, and it will display the list of channels. So on this list, you can either press the arrow up or down to scroll through, or to the right or left until you see Abusiro TV on your list of channels. You continue pressing until you see Abusiro TV. There we have it, and you press OK to select it. You can press OK again to remove that menu. And that's how you set up your Abusiro TV. I'm going to show you now how to enter the frequencies if your decoder does not have the frequencies set already. Now to do that, you press the menu button, the installation menu comes, and then you press OK on installation, and you enter the password, which is 0000 for the default, and then you go down to transponder list. You press OK. On the transponder list, you can scroll up and down, and on the column which is written frequency, you look for a frequency which is written 12522. If you don't find that particular frequency 12522, you are going to add it manually. Now this is how you add the frequencies to the transponder list for Abusiro TV. You press the red button on your remote and the add transponder menu appears. Now the name of the satellite should be Intelsat 20. and then you don't do anything on the number, you leave it as it is. You go to frequency, then you press the arrow to the right to allow you to now edit. So in this particular case, I'm supposed to enter 12. That's 12, 5, 2, 2. 12,522 megahertz as the frequency, and you press OK once. Then you press the arrow down, you go to the symbol rate. On the symbol rate, you press the arrow to the right once, and it allows you now to start editing. So you enter 2, 7, 5, 0, 0, and you press OK. Then you go to polarization. If your decoder is not on vertical, like you may find it on horizontal, you press the arrow to the right, and to make it vertical, then you press OK. Now, this transponder will be on the list of transponders. So, if your decoder is not already scanned to find Abusiro TV, you can press the blue button. It will save the information that you just entered. And then the polarization will still be on vertical. Now on network search, you press OK. You press the arrow to the right in order for you to get on. And then you press the enter button or the OK button so that the decoder can now scan. When it has finished scanning, it will ask you to save the results that it found. You just press the OK button and it will save that information. Then you press the exit button 2 times, and then you press OK in order to see the list of channels. Then on that list, you can now press the arrow to the right or to the left or up and down to scroll looking for Abusiro TV. You continue pressing until you see Abusiro TV, and then you press OK. You press OK 2 times so that you can now be able to watch the channel.